welcome to Mama Mandala. I'm Hagar. Welcome to moving from summer into fall. We're about to transition in seasons, at least while when I'm releasing this video. But if you're not at this time of year, you might still really benefit from this, because what I want to explore with you today is the idea that darkness can be deeply important, that as we move into darker days, as we experience sometimes in our lives darker and more gloomy and more difficult periods with ourselves or with something that's going on in our lives, our tendency is to think that we need to move toward the light. Our tendency is to feel that the pain is too much and we got to get through it to the other side. And it's valid. It's valid information from our system. And there is something about the darkness and about days and periods in our lives that are more difficult, and maybe not even difficult, maybe just more internal, that can be deeply nourishing for our souls. As we enter the fall, we remind ourselves with the cycles of nature that periods of decay and of darkness are necessary for renewal and regeneration. So if you are in a difficult time in your life, maybe this practice is for you to rest into this space and create, if this is okay for you, sometimes it's not, but if this is okay for you, a sacred space for yourself to be nourished by the challenges and to give yourself room to be with whatever feelings you're experiencing, okay? One quick thought as we enter the movement, and you can stand tall at the top of your mat or not on a mat, with your feet parallel and as wide as your hips, so that you can ground yourself a little bit more deeply and allow your eyes to soften or close if that feels okay. Bring your left hand over your heart and your right hand over your belly, so that you can give yourself the message that you're here with yourself. And you can turn your attention to your breath and receive the movement, the filling and the emptying. And I want us to remember, as we turn ourselves toward the dark, that what has made us so afraid of darkness and of death and of the cycles of nature is patriarchal ideas that have taken us away from the earth and from our natural rhythms. So listen to your breath and receive the messages of filling and growing and swelling and expanding, and the lessons and the gift that move with the emptying, with the clearing. And release your arms with an inhalation. Reach your arms up and over your head. And with an exhalation, release your arms around you, so that you are creating a circle around you. Inhale, reach your arms up to remind yourself of the cyclical nature of life. Exhale, release your arms by your sides and remind yourself that periods of darkness are valid and important and necessary. Inhale, reach your arms up. Not to say that we don't need to also sometimes kick ourselves in the butt. Exhale, release your arms by your sides and move ourselves from the darkness when we get stuck there. But inhale and reach your arms up. And this time, with an exhalation, bend your knees and reach your arms out to the sides. Take your pubic bone back and your chest forward. Stay here for a slow, deep inhalation. And with an exhalation, rest your belly and your ribs on your thighs and bring your fingertips to the earth. So fold over your legs. And if this is too much of a forward bend for you, you can put your hands on blocks or on a stool. You can put your hands on a chair, on a couch. Inhale, keep your knees bent and look forward halfway up. Our fear of darkness has been instilled in us. Exhale, fold back in. By a white supremacist culture. Inhale, stretch your chest forward, halfway up. exhale, fold in. Think for a moment how racist the idea that darkness is bad and light is good. Inhale, look forward. And exhale, fold in. Let that idea, that thought move with your breath as your body moves. Inhale and look forward. Keep your knees bent, and with an exhalation, step your left leg back so your ribs on the right side are resting on your right thigh. Root into the ball of your left foot and stretch your chest forward. Deep breath in. And exhale, step your left foot forward. Keep your knees bent. Fold over your legs. Inhale, look forward halfway up. Exhale, step your right foot back. So rest the left side of your ribs on your belly. Stretch your chest forward. Ground into the ball of your right foot. Deep breath in. And exhale, step your back foot forward. Keep your knees bent. Uttanasana with the knees bent. Rest your belly on your thighs. In the darkness, we learn to rest. Hold your elbows with your hands. And allow the upper body, allow your torso to rest over your legs. If there's a little bit of a swaying that wants to happen, go for it. So stillness is important, but it isn't the only way to experience the softness of a resting space. Sometimes it's a swaying. Think of being in a hammock, how restful that is. Inhale, bring your fingertips to the floor and look forward halfway up. Exhale, step your left foot back. Ground into your feet and lengthen your spine. This time, draw the sides of the ribs towards each other and the hip bones in the front of your body towards each other. ASIS towards each other. So there's a lift in your belly. Deep breath in. We gain strength in the dark. Exhale, step back into downward facing dog. Plant your hands into the earth. Root into the darkness of the soil and let it hold you. Receive the way that it supports us, that it holds us, that it holds the diversity of our own being and then the diversity to which we belong. As you ground your hands, lift your arm bones up, reach your hips up to the sky and elongate your body into connection with soil and with yourself. Inhale to plank pose, so bring your shoulders over your wrists, and if that's too much, you can put your knees on the floor. Exhale, bring your hips down to the ground and lift your chest forward and up. Cobra pose. Point your feet and spread your toes. As you ground your hands, draw the sides of your body long so that from your hips through your arm bones there's a lift, and draw a little bit of the heads of your arm bones back so there's an opening in the front, but not too much. Broaden the back as well. Deep breath in. And exhale, step up and back, downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Inhale, lift your right leg up. And exhale, step your right foot forward in between your hands. This time, spin your left heel to the floor and bring both of your hands on the inside of your right leg. Root both of your feet into the earth. Ground into that which supports you. Ground into the soil, the darkness of the earth beneath you, so that you can strengthen from messages that come from the dark. Root your hands down and reach your hips up to the sky. So sorry about this position. Reach your hips up and back and take your chest away from the right knee as your hands root into the earth. Slow breath in. As you exhale, walk your hands to frame your front foot and step your back foot forward into Uttanasana. Forward bend, knees bent. Inhale and look forward halfway up. Exhale, step your right foot back and lunge position. Both of your feet rooting to the earth. Lengthen your spine and draw the sides of the ribs towards each other. Gather yourself into yourself. Go internally. Sometimes it's not comfortable, but this season invites us to go more in. And sometimes periods in our lives invite us deeper in. Deep breath in. Go with your breath. Exhale, plant your hands, step back to downward facing dog. There's a part of your hand that's gonna wanna lift. It's the inner edges of your hands and maybe even the tips of your fingers. So root through the parts that want to lift, almost as if we're trying to root into the areas that we might feel like we wanna lift away from, but we know that the healing, that the health, that the conversation that takes us into deeper relationship actually happens when we ground into the areas that we tend to want to escape. So the areas that tend to lift up off the floor, root into them. Inhale, take your shoulders over your wrists into plank pose, and with an exhalation, bring your hips down and your chest forward and up. Broaden through your collarbones, lift up through your chest, and draw a little bit of, again, the heads of your arm bones back. So you're not taking your shoulders forward, but you don't have to crank them back. You can broaden back and front. Deep breath in. Exhale, up and back into downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana, and with an inhalation, lift your left leg up. As you exhale, step your left foot forward in between your hands, spin the right heel to the floor, both of your hands on the inside of your left leg, and walk your hands away from your left foot as you ground your feet into the earth. Lift your hips up to the sky and widen the left knee away from your left arm bone. Do you feel how your left knee wants to knock in? So widen it, broaden it. With it, broaden your perspective on the difficulties and the challenges. What are some other ways that you can look at the places, the circumstances, the situations that are taking you into a dark night of the soul? How can you let the dark night of the soul itself expand your perspective? Walk your hands to frame your front foot. Inhale, lift your right leg up. And exhale, step your back foot forward, Uttanasana, forward bend. And you can have your legs straight now or keep your knees bent. Inhale and look forward, halfway up. Exhale and fold back in. And bend your knees and bring your hips down to the floor and come to lie on your back. Bring your right knee into your chest. Your left knee is bent. Your left foot is on the floor. Right knee into your chest. Slow breath in. Let the earth support you. Exhale slowly. What are the things in your life right now that are supporting you through your experience? Deep breath in. And exhale. Release your right foot to the floor and inhale. Bring your left knee into your chest and hug it in and let the earth support you. Let the ground beneath you hold you. Flex your left foot as you bring your left knee in and breathe in slowly. And breathe out mindfully. Deep breath in. Sometimes the darkness itself can be a blanket of surrender. Exhale, release your left foot to the floor. Put your hands on the tops of your thighs and root the tops of your thighs away from you so you're supporting the curvature of your lower back. And I'm moving my hips a little side to side because it feels really good. And then bring both of your knees into your chest and give yourself a nice hug, because sometimes we need to give ourselves a hug and give ourselves space to feel what we feel, to grieve the losses, to experience the full spectrum of our humanity and our beastiness. And then release your arms and your legs and allow the earth to support you as you let your body surrender to gravity. Let your breath soften and your eyes soften behind your eyelids. And relax here for as long as you can. And when you're done, head over to mamamandala.com and check out the full equinox somatic ceremony. If you would like to bring your body into a mythological, symbolic, mythopoetic exploration of the season we're moving into, and supporting yourself with practices and journal prompts, I would be delighted to have you. So I will leave a link in the description of the video. And if you like this video, like it and subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much for joining me. Mwah. Namaste. Happy almost fall.